Okay, so now it's January 29th, January 29th, 2022. Lucy, I'll do this video for you because I know you want to learn canning. I realize it's hard to get back into my videos, to find those videos. But in the meantime, this is 2 cans of carrots, and the rest is all that broth. Carrot, tomato / broth / juice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 jars of carrots. I could do more, but I'm not going to. It's just, I think I'm just going to dehydrate. I'd rather save my jars for something else, like put that stuff in there. And then we got a ½ pint of that juice, right? So I am going to get on with meat. Okay, so getting my little workspace ready here. There's the pot with some water in it for those chicken bones. Now I'm going to be cooking that chicken. I already washed the roasting pan that I had the ham in, right? You know my oven works now. I am going to half bake it, and I'll explain to you why when I'm picking at it, taking it apart, putting the bones in there for broth. Whether I make soup or not and can the soup, which I might, because that, you know, comes really handy and it's good, right? Because I'm not going to have enough time to cook the broth and then do the chicken, right? I'm probably going to have to use boiled water with the chicken versus broth, although I would prefer broth. But it doesn't always work out that way. And there was 7 jars. I had one over there. So I did 7 full jars of carrots. So that's pretty good. I had to feed the hummingbird. It was calling me, and now it's not here. It'll be soon. There's 2 of them. They live in this tree. This one over here. Okay, so there's the chicken. It's $5.99 a key. This is 5.346 keys. So it's about maybe what, $32? This is about $32 in chicken. Okay? They're unthawed. I should have done this yesterday, but my eyes, they clouded up for like 4 hours. And I barely cried, people. I dropped some tears, okay? It's very hard for me to cry. Right? But just that little bit. So after the next couple, 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 at most, I'm going to the eye doctor, and I don't know, I guess I'm going to have to book in cataract surgery to start. And I don't know what I don't know what they can't really do anything about the coma other than give me eye drops, but then my eyes just get worse, right? So okay, we can't deal with that right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wash these and put them in an oven. I'm going to sprinkle them up some just seasoning, general seasoning salt, nothing major. Put a little bit of water in the pan, and I'm going to half cook them. And then that's when I'm going to debone them. Take the bones, put them in there. The skin, depending on where it is and what it's like, I will probably just freeze and save it for another day for whatever reason, because chicken is becoming like chicken, any kind of meat really, throughout the continent. It's not a local issue. It's throughout the continent where meat is being deprived to the general population because it's just not available. Okay? So, I don't want to get into the politics around it outside of this is what I have. So, I'm going to be frugal with this, just like I'm being frugal with these carrots. Now, I have 2 more boxes of carrots, so I have to bring them in, let them start unthawing, and I've got a few trays now, right? And I can do that again. So, hold on. Okay, so you're only half baking it, okay? It's just, you can get more in the jar, and you can add a little extra. If you can raw chicken, you don't add water. After it's done, I find, oops, sorry, wandering eye. I find that there's not very much liquid in the jar. Okay? And obviously it's just raw chicken. That's cold packing it. In this situation, you're half baking it. Now you can cook the whole chicken, have a meal, have leftover, make some broth, take your chicken, cut it up into pieces, put it in a jar, throw your broth in there, throw in a couple carrots, and you can still can it. But in this situation, I'm just canning basically half raw chicken, and I'm going to add in, I guess, water. I would prefer broth, but it's not going to happen today. Right? And then the bones obviously go in there. There's that beef I was talking to you about. I don't know how much these things cost, but there was 2 of them, and I only unthawed 1 box, okay? So between this and this, it will be all canned up at the same time. Now, I don't know if these are pre-cooked. I've never seen anything like this before, and actually I threw out the box, but I do have another one here, right? But I don't know if these are pre-cooked. They might already be pre-cooked, people. I have to cut into it and see. And with the gravy, you can't really can it with gravy per se. So I'd have to dilute it a bit, but that will give me 2 jars anyway, right? Okay. I'm gonna get these jars going. So, yesterday, after that, whatever happened there, I think we're going into some serious loosh harvesting here, people. I can feel the energy just being sucked out of me, and is being done through fear with a very mean person. Extremely mean. But when I came in and I did that little teeny weeny video, I didn't really cry that much, people, but like everything just clouded over, and it stayed like I had to stop canning everything. I couldn't see. It was so clouded, and it was like clouded for like over 4 hours. It took a long time. Once in a blue moon, it will happen to me if I go from different light spectrums, like say from inside the house, which is quite dark, and I'm always under these fluorescent lights, which are bad for your eyes, right? But besides that point, and then if I go outside and it's bright, okay? But I don't know. I'm wondering if I got hit with an energy weapon out in the yard. I have it documented, people, of energy weapons going through my yard, coming up from behind me, bypassing me. I don't think it went through me. I think it went behind me, scooted in, went through a bucket. You could see it actually go through a black bucket, turned and went and hid underneath. It's like a mist, right? It's documented on video. And it hovered behind the tarp because, you know, I was working in the yard, right? And then it took off and scooted like this through the grass, which is being controlled by a joystick. I think it's called the Stingray or something like that. And it's done through reflection. And there's reflection off of my house with that video. And I have them going in the basement. I have that documented with Julian raging and that energy weapon over his shoulder. Right? And then there's a couple of other videos. Project Bluebeam, when I first basically moved in 2011. Well, it wasn't when I moved in, but within the first year. Anyway, because it was just too odd that my eyes clouded up like that and stay clouded. Like it was like a really heavy fog. So, you know, I'm going to have to go see an eye doctor. How I'm going to be treated, people, I mean, it remains to be seen. Because there's something going on out here. I told you this. I've been telling you this for a long time. And now it's like it's being ramped up. Right? It's like it's being ramped up. You know, it's like, I don't know. So anyway. So you got to have jars in order to can. Whether new or used. I got lucky. Tisha found wide mouth 500 mil. I really like these jars. These are nice jars. And I'm using this case for what I'm doing today. Plus I've got a couple of other 500 mil kicking around if it overflows. Now, you don't have to sterilize your jars when you're using a pressure canner like this. Only for a water bath do you sterilize jars. But you do have to wash them. Right? So, these ones are my favorite. I really like these kind. Right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying not to let that loose harvesting suck the energy out of me, because I can feel it. Because I'm in fear, right? Isn't that what it's about? Keep you in fear. Keep you uncomfortable. Right? So, I don't know. I'm just trying to pace myself through this. Get it done. I'm going to start another box of carrots here in a minute after I get a little going in here. It depends on what's going on with the chicken, how long it takes to half cook. Right? And then what's left, I still have the apples I have to do. And oh yes, the yams, the 40-pound box of yams. One of those hoarding moments. And the 40-pound box of sweet potatoes. So I can get 2 more jars like this. As the food stores are going empty. And I'm being kicked out of my house. If that's not planned, people, I don't know what is. You see, that's the thing. It's planned. Okay? It stimulates the economy, right? When families fail. And it sure in hell makes millions of dollars for somebody that traffics organs and that kind of stuff. Bodysuits, teeth, right? Hair, skin, whatever it is. Right? They make millions of dollars off of it. So they need to get those dead bodies by any means necessary. Right? And loose harvesting is one way to ensure that those bodies will trickle in, right? So I don't know how well I'm going to hold up to this outside of, because I don't want to dwell on it, right? I'm dwelling on it, and you know, it's anybody would dwell on it, right? Like Tisha's room, like I said, I was going to turn it into a little / business room just to get me motivated to start selling things, people. Right? I'm going to sell my outfits that have, you know, my costumes, and you know, go through things. I don't know, right? I was going to have maybe some yard sales in the garage in the back over here. You know, when it get closer to that time in the summertime, as I'm going through stuff, right? Just, you know, and I was going to try and use that money to pay for the trial, because I'm expected to pay for the trial, right, people? And if I put in an application for hardship, as you know, I can't remember what they call it, they'll just play games like they did with Uncle John. They'll turn it into a little mini trial with their lawyers, and the judge is already bought and paid for, and will tell me to take it to the cops when he should be ordering an investigation if the province doesn't do it. Right? It would be almost like what happened with Uncle John. But I can't let that stop me from trying and showing up, assuming, I don't know where I'm going to be in September, people. at the rate that I'm going, it's almost like I said, this is planned. They're trying to derail me from following through, from following up with what happened to Shimei, Uncle John, Amari, Sierra, all of it, right? Because if the government has to investigate and put in stronger measures to prevent illegal organ harvesting, a lot of people are going to get pissed off, people, because they're making good money off of it. How do you think all these houses are being built out here? Does that mean every house is being paid for by organs being trafficked between crooked doctors and crooked cops and crookeds? No. But I'm sure there's a fair amount that are, okay? Right? Some people die young, some people die old. Some people are targeted when they're old for the assets, while other old people are not. You go into those care homes, the majority of what you see are Caucasians. And they can't leave. Okay? And we know what's been happening to them lately. They've been severely abused and mistreated and basically abandoned because the government has closed the door on those healthcare prisons, and family members can't witness as to what's happening to their loved ones. Just kind of like what happened with Uncle John. Right? And with the baby boomers, they're the richest demographics of a population because of the time frame from when they were born, and, you know, good jobs with good benefits and pensions and superannuation life insurance policies if they're government employees, which many of them were. Now they own houses, but they're getting old, so they get flushed out. They go to the hospital, like Uncle John, he had a bacteria pneumonia, right? But that was just the means to medically kidnap him. And then they took everything from him, everything, including his family. So it just seems to be the norm around here when it comes to the targeting of individuals and the targeting of families and who benefits and how they benefit and how much they benefit from it, who facilitates it, right? Who blockades it, as in the court. The court blockades it, right? And they'll just find another way to attack you. If they can't tear you down one way, they'll find another way. Right? Until there's nothing left. And then they'll just import some family from Syria, right? Move them into a house like this for $4,000 a month so Trudeau can pay for it. While some of them will prosper, while others will be the next generation of Shimeis and Amaris and Uncle John's, only they won't have no pension plans to steal. But you see, the government has 15 years of baby boomers coming in. So, you know, they're going to be focused on that first. It's not funny, but I'm starting to wash jars, right? I'm taking them to the sink, and I'm telling Amari, like, you know, you just have to be patient with Nana just for a little while longer, because I want to do things with him, people. But, you know, like, chicken is, like, becoming scarce these days, and, you know, this is the best way to, it just goes longer, it goes further. This is one meal for my son, and a full meal for me and the kids, plus a little extra the next day, either for Andre or Amari. Okay? So, you know, I don't know how many jars I'm going to get. We'll find out after it's all said and done. So, you know, like, I just kind of, like, how many times have I said been wanting to put my pots away and my dehydrator away, but, you know, like, it's with the way things are going, people, right? You know, just hold on, the water's running, hold on. It's dripping, I don't even like it dripping, but anyway, it'll stop. The washer, it's an old tap, it needs to be kind of replaced, but I'm hoping that just changing the washers will do. So now I have to find somebody to do that for me, because underneath the sink still needs to be done. But anyway, I'm trying to get Tisha's boyfriend to do it, but I'll have to pay him for it, right? Just because. So anyway, I'm like, you know, I'm doing this, right? And you know, I want to do things with Amari, but I also don't want to be wasteful, right? And but then my brain goes right to, oh well, when this guy starts throwing my shit out in his bin, he's gonna throw out a lot of fucking jars, people. A lot of fucking jars. And now talk about being wasteful. That will be very, very, very wasteful. And then I'm imagining what it would be like if he has his buddies come in here, because I don't think the people that he has coming around here do well. My landlords, I don't know about him, but they all know each other, right? You know, these guys, right? The ones that did the water tank, like, that was some shady shit going on, right? Like, because it's money, right? It's just money. Very good at gaslighting, right? So anyway, you know what? Are they going to have those guys come in here and start boxing up my stuff to just throw it into a bin and not steal anything, people? Yeah, okay. But they're going to be smashing up a whole lot of fucking jars. If it ever came to that. That's kind of funny. Not funny, really, but, you know, you could write a short story around that. All right. Yeah, you know, the brain just going, right? I'm like, this guy is like depriving my family of food. Not only is he depriving the things that I grow in this yard, like my blueberries, like, you know, like, they produce a lot of blueberries now, people. And you have to remember, the Abbotsford area got flooded out, so a whole whack of blueberry farms got wiped out. Okay? I got blueberries that grow, that Andre eats for the whole season, and Amari. He's taking those away from the kids. The raspberry bush, the blackberry bush, the plum tree, right? Not to mention the few other little things that I grow around, and I wanted to, like, enrich the dirt and build up garden beds, and, you know, with the wood, and just right, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I mean, like, I'm debating whether I should continue accepting this food that's given to me, people. It's not like I can put an order in. I can't have them show up at my door and put my nose up and say, well, I want this and this, but not that and that, because, you know, I just don't have time to process it because my landlord's kicking me out. Because that would be the only reason I would refuse it, right? You either take it all or you take nothing. They're giving it to you. You can't be picky. This is not the time to be picky. My new landlord, has put me in a position where I don't know if I should take anything. Because my next thought is, he's just going to have his boys, his thugs, come into my house and start fucking throwing out jars into the bin full of food. And then still call me down, people. And treat me like trash. And then accuse me of acting like I'm a victim. Okay. Is this loosh harvesting that I'm feeling right now? Okay. What would you be thinking if you were treated like this? How would you respond? For a lot of these guys that do this kind of shit, They're hoping you're going to pick up a bottle and drown your sorrows. They're hoping that you're gonna pop a bunch of fucking pills and drown your sorrows. They hope that you're gonna beat your kids and just be completely irresponsible, so they have a reason to come in and abuse you even more and throw you out even fucking faster and not turn a blind eye, because as far as they're concerned, you're the scum of the earth and nothing more than a fucking junkie that belongs in the dirt. Okay? But I'm not an addict. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a prescription pill popper. I'm none of that, people. I'm a survivor. I was a warrior, but I was taken out by the types of individuals that I come into contact with from time to time that don't like for anything when it relates to my family to be successful. So they go for the weakest first. 3 are already dead. 1 is severely injured for life. And I've only got a few years left of being vigorous. And this dude wants to put me on the fucking run as he's trashing my jars around town while in his bin. Stealing my shit. Because you know I got some nice shit in this house. Right. I mean, I have to take it serious. The way he was talking to me and treating me yesterday, it just all of a sudden, out of the blue, from measuring windows that came from that little house over there, right, that turned into a mutiny because the landlord was kicking them out and they didn't fucking care. So they trashed the house because they knew the landlord was going to trash it anyway. Right, work on a foundation. I tried, bring him here, right, whatever, and okay, they're still here. I told that guy, I said, I work on a foundation, but it hasn't gone anywhere. I wonder why, people, it hasn't gone anywhere in British Columbia, Canada, with a bunch of fucking God knows what around me. So he measured up those windows because I guess they're changing, they're renovating a house. That's what it is. Somebody's renovating a house, an old bungalow, and they're putting on windows so they can raise the rent and say that they renovated it. I don't care, right? I've been wanting those windows gone for a couple of years now. If they don't take them, and if I was allowed to have stayed here, I mean, it wouldn't have been anything I would have done right away because there's other things in the yard I want to do first. But, in my mind, I was mulling on, well, where can I build another little mini greenhouse just for the sake of it? But it's like, whatever. So, yeah, and then, he's measuring and whatever, and everything seems to be kosher. I'm not bitching about the fucking gutters. I'm not bitching about anything. I'm not hitting him up right away and saying, well, this needs to be fixed and this needs to be fixed, or do you see that needs to be fixed? I didn't fucking say anything outside of it's winter time. Things have been tossed around, okay, and that I'm going to be coming out soon, right? Because I'm winding down in here outside of what's being given to me. Get out into the front, and it was like whoosh, he went from day to night, from good to evil. Like, seriously, his devil horns came out and he was a completely different fucking guy. I don't know what happened. All I know is he was mean, like fucking vicious kind of mean. Vicious people. I wasn't afraid, don't get me wrong. I wasn't like afraid that he was going to attack me. Not that kind of vicious. But just his whole persona where, it just like, holy shit. Like, where did you come from? And just so mean. I'm waiting for this chicken to cook. I'm trying not to think. No, I'm trying not to dwell on this. I'm trying not to pick on my landlord. It's more than one. This dude might think he's my landlord, but it'll never be Mr. and Mrs. Gill. No. They're my landlords. Obviously, Mr. Gill, apparently he needs another surgery for his heart. So he's not doing too good. And the family has taken over his assets and locked him away like a dirty secret and probably not letting him know what they're doing. Lying to him, oh yeah, Judy's fine. And not telling him how they're actually treating me. Because he actually cared. He tried to hold true to his word. I know my landlady cares to a degree, but, you know, old people, they get stuck in their ways. You know, my grandmother was stuck in her ways. All right. So, but this other guy, I don't know. I wonder where he's going to get, how, like, didn't I say that though? In order to get anywhere in British Columbia, Canada, you gotta be a fucking mean guy. You know, you almost have to resort to being a criminal, if not become an actual criminal, in order to be successful in this province. So this guy is living up to that fucking standard. Definitely. Definitely. If that's what it takes to become successful, now we know why, people, the foundation never was. Because it's not in my character to be mean. He accused me of taking advantage of my landlords because they're elderly. As soon as he said that, it made me think of the bullshit that was going on at that temporary care ward when the workers were running around whispering and spreading rumors that I was taking advantage of Uncle John. And therefore, it justified doing what they did. Because they knew what they were doing, people. You see, that's the thing. I didn't poke the bear. I didn't start saying, well, excuse me, what about this, and this, and this, in terms of things that need to be fixed, and I've been patient with just because, right, and whatever, or I try and do it for myself, or whatever, right? I didn't want to antagonize him, but then on the other hand, I don't take advantage. I just reminded him the deal was, stay as long as you want, we won't raise the rent, right? And you've been raising the rent, okay, and I made sure that you will get your rent no matter what's happening out in the economy with the situation of lack of food. And then he acted like there was no problem in the economy with food disappearing. Well, what do you mean? You're in denial. Or something like that, right? I couldn't say he said denial exactly, but you know, he acted like there was no concern with food shortages or with the cost of food in general. It didn't faze him. It wasn't anything that he noticed. So therefore, I was being frivolous. That's what he was trying to suggest, that whatever I was doing behind the scenes here to make sure that he'd get his rent for 2022, no matter what the fuck was going out on the community because of our government, people, and because of criminals, people, I put them first, right next to Amari. Okay? You can almost say I put the landlords first. I know it doesn't seem that way, but I did. But Amari is first, so I can't put one before the other, so I put them both first. And that's why I've been working so damn hard doing what I've been doing to make sure that my landlord got the rent and my grandson had the sweet potato or whatever it is that I've been doing. As I work out my life and start selling off little this and doing something, I don't know what yet. I haven't quite gotten there yet, right? So that I can show up at court and say, well, Your Honor, this is all I have. What does it buy me in court for a trial? even though I'm booked in for 10 fucking days? Huh? Should I have taken that money and just held it for court and give it to a corrupt government? Is that what I should have done? Or should I just given it to my landlord and sit here and starve and wait for my neighbors to give me a generous donation, assuming that they're even in a position to do that? There's only so many hands you can play. I thought I played the safe hand. And now I'm thinking as I'm doing this that these thugs are going to come into my house and start grabbing my jars when they're not stealing what they like. Because I'm not here, remember that. I've been kicked out. My shit's here, but I'm not here. Okay? Stealing, pocketing, whatever they fucking want as they're hauling out my jars, talking between themselves and their own language what an idiot I was for canning it and throwing it into the bin. Crash, 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 crash. Crash, 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 crash. Well, what a sight that would be. Why should I even have to be thinking those kind of thoughts, people? Why? Because it's loose harvesting. That's why. When they sell this house, they'll make $2 million. They can already get 1.5 easy. House over there sold for 1.5 million. Several of them, 4 in a row. 1.5 million each. That little greenhouse with that for sale sign that has been up but it's been sold for the last 8 months. Nobody comes or goes. His house sits completely empty. It's been sitting completely empty for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And they sell it 2 or 3 times a year. This time the sign's been sitting there for 8 months, sold. Nothing moves. Curtains don't move. Garbage cans don't move. That one sold for 1.5 million. That was almost a year ago. So you know this is now 1.7 million. Right? So they're not losing. No, I paid down their mortgage. They probably bought this house when I moved in, and they changed the windows and said it was a new furnace. And take it now. Take it now. This is the deal. Take it now, because if you walk away and you come back, we can't guarantee it will be there for you. That's my landlord and landlady. And I'm like looking at John and I'm looking at Joan and I'm like, damn, that's like... And I took it. And now I'm being treated like I'm nothing more than a fucking savage. Or at least a junkie. I'm trying really hard not to dwell on it. I can only do so much in one day, people. I have a plan to wean myself out of this house. It's too small for me in terms of just the kitchen, no porch, no inside stairs, right? Mari's getting bigger, right? Just the whole 9 yards. Yard is, it's a lot of work. Even on a good day, you could spend 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, all for 10 months. I've done it, people. I have videos of it. The city had me out there for fucking 10 months straight. Day after day after day, rain, shine, cold, didn't matter what it was. Because they were trying to break my spirit and wear me down. Right? Hoping I'd pick up that bottle. Hoping I'd pick up that bottle of pills. Hoping that I'd fucking start doing drugs and injecting myself with fentanyl and God knows what else that's being supplied out into the streets so generously by the real crooks in the community. But it didn't turn out like that now, did it? I went to sleep. I don't know. I don't get peaceful sleeps because, the ringing in my ear and the pressure and everything. Sometimes my eyes are bugging me. And I woke up. And there was only a split second where I can say I felt normal. only for a split second, and then reality came awash, and it's just reminded me that these are going to end up in a fucking bin. And yeah, are they going to throw out all my court papers, people? All my documents? Whether it's to do with court or whatever it is? All my foundation paperwork? Are they going to... all my fabric? Just throw everything into the fucking bin? Is that what they're going to do? And then sit there and try and make themselves look like they're honorable because they're not stealing anything? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Like, why do I even have to be thinking about this stuff, people? Right? If I can't afford $4,000 here, how does he expect me to pay that somewhere else? Oh, he doesn't. He expects me to get rid of my stuff so I can continue paying $2,000 for upstairs so he can rent out the basement to a whole bunch of fucking who knows what, make $2,000 down there, and then still come back when he's ready to sell the house and kick me out, as he calls me down and threatens to throw what little I have left in the bin. But yeah, is that what's going to happen? You're going to start throwing out all my court papers? Or are you going to find a different way to suck it to me? For being human. And not, see, he doesn't see me as a good tenant, though. You see, that's the thing. His idea of a good tenant is coughing up $4,000. Because it's business. Yeah. Almost, this is for documents. I put the pairs that were given to us, and there was just a couple of them that didn't make it. Oh, God. I need this. I don't have any money. I put my documents in this. Do you think the government has something to do with this, trying to derail me from trial? You know, they got money buying off people all the time. I do believe that the government's involved with landlords in terms of this dismantling of vulnerable families. I don't want to necessarily say poor, because not everybody is poor, but obviously the poor are the most easiest to target, right? And like these energy weapons and shit like this, I mean, like what, my landlords are installing energy weapons sitting across the street with the little joystick? I highly doubt it. Sometimes I wonder if my house isn't bugged to some degree, because I know that they do that. Whether this house was or not, I don't know. I know energy weapons go through it, so something is provoking that, right? Something is definitely provoking that. How it's being managed through Wi-Fi and where it's connected to and who's on the other end, I don't know. But, you know, the end goal is, people, is to harvest those organs, right? And just take and get as much as you can until there's nothing left to take or get, and go on to the next. And because they're bringing in whole families from Syria and places like that, with the federal government propping them up, willing to pay $4,000 or $2,000 for half a house, right? That's business. That's business. So yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to check out my court papers too. And all my non-profit documents, everything. Just, well, they do. I shouldn't wonder. That's what they do. Right? So I go to trial and say, well, gee, Your Honor, everything's in a bin. Well, how did that happen, Miss Chorney? Well, I don't know. This mean guy showed up one day and my life has been like, it's been in fucking hell. And I'm you know, I managed to get a breather for a minute, and that's why I'm standing in front of you. Right? It's just a breather. I have to go back to hell, wherever it is that I came from, and it won't be here, that's for sure. And that's assuming I'm even alive, people, by that time. I feel like there's a hit on my life. Yeah, I do. It would be very easy to take care of the problem if they just got rid of me. And that's why I say that. Then they would have full control over everything and anything. And because they work in packs with their stakeholders, they're the victims. And then I see videos like this, graphene oxide nanotubules seen under optical microscopy. Dr. Marcelo, okay, he's saying, my God, right? This is going into all of humanity. And it's pretty bad, people. But the thing is, it's not going into all of humanity. It's going into only some people. Okay? Only some people are being targeted for this, while others are not. Okay? And I've already had one of these fellas come into my house talking on about how he got his saline. So yeah, life is pretty gloomy here, eh? I'm not being very positive now, am I? So after you cook it for a little while, this chicken, before I start, I need to have this rolled up. This one's falling down. Okay. You just debone it and separate everything. I'll just use that. This chicken was donated to the people who gave it to me from Costco's. All this stuff was donated from Costco's, right? So I looked the date on this, right? And it's best before February 14th of 2022. So why they're donating full chickens like this, bags, I don't know. Oh, this is still hot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. So basically there's blood in here, so you can't lick your fingers, okay? Right? Nothing you can lick or eat or taste. Right? Because you're risking then listeria, salmonella, you know what I'm saying. E. coli, all those bad pathogens that you don't want to introduce into your body. Oh boy, this is hot. Oh, I don't think I can do this just yet. It might be too hot. I just took it out of the oven. I'm trying not to think, people, but my head's starting to hurt. I'm actually starting to get a headache from thinking too much. Like I said, I went to sleep. It took me a long time to fall asleep. But it's been kind of taking me a long time because I've been working so hard that, you know, I get so wound up, it takes me a while to fall asleep. So anyway, when I woke up, it was, I don't want to say peaceful. It was only peaceful for like 30 seconds. Once I woke up, I realized what the fuck was going on. Oh, good. And then I tried to be brave. Tried to be brave. So this chicken maybe was in longer than I expected. You see? But it's okay. Blood is still coming from it. It's not completely cooked right through. Oh boy. Anyway, I will do this now, I guess. Have to use this part of my finger and turn it off. Oh, it was a mistake to turn this camera on. See if I just... what can I do? This. There we go. Okay. So. I can't stop waiting for doom. Yeah. I'm wondering how this guy is going to try and hurt me. I'm scared, people. I'm trying not to be scared, but I'm scared. It's funny how one day you can just wake up and be petrified. As if the world isn't in a bad state as it is. Right? Only so much I can do in a day, people. I can't do no more than what I've been doing. Right? This is this convoy going on. Apparently Trudeau's hiding out, blaming it on being sick. Yeah, right. He's not even normal, people. Right. I have been so set up. Boy, why did I turn the camera on for? I'm not saying shit. Because I'm panicking. And I'm trying not to panic. Trying to stay responsible. Alright. Finish. It's kind of gooey, but I mean, you could do it raw too, right? It's just when I do it this way, I top off with the liquid that's here between the jars equally, and then I add a little bit more water because I'm wanting a little extra juice in the jar. Whereas if you can raw chicken, it has to go in raw with no water. This way I can sneak in a bit of water. Right? It still siphons a bit, depending on the jar and whatnot, and how much chicken you have in there, but I just find doing it this way tends to give you just a little bit more broth after the fact. And this is still going to be pretty brothy because there's a fair... I put water in this pan when I started. So... I'm getting a headache. Wow, what did I just find? A wishbone. As if there's wishes in Canada. I don't think so. I think those days are gone. Well, you'll find it to be a little rubbery when it's like this. And if you're going to make stock, try not to have too much fat in there. Right? Because fat crawls on your jars. That's why I'm putting the fat in a separate. Although I like the taste of fat, so I like to usually have just a little bit in the jar with this meat. Not much, just a little bit. Down to one more. This is it. And then the bowl is full already. So what do you do in a situation like mine, people? Just wait for doomsday to show up at your door? Let it all happen? It's not like I can start packing up. It's not that simple. I shouldn't have to. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not the one trying to capitalize off of a corrupt economy that lives and supports itself off the black market, laundering money through various venues. The housing market is one of them. All right, started years and years and years and years ago. And because it brings in so much money, nobody does anything about it. It's like that house sitting empty over there for 8 months. Well, more like 8 years. They just keep selling it to increase the property prices, which benefits my landlady. In the end. Because that's what it's all about, right? That's why they buy them. It's a business. A ruthless one at that. Or at least it is now. Never used to be like this. Right? Well, it depends. Depends on who you were dealing with. And what their motives were. It's real bad now, though. I'm just waiting for something bad to show up at my door, people. The guy told me he's coming back with something bad, but I think it's going to be worse than that. That's that loosh harvesting, right? Isn't that what that is? Anything to wear down your immune system, make you sick, so you become easier to attack, destroy. When that water pipe started leaking underneath this sink, a month and a half ago or whatever, I showed that guy everything in there that's leaking underneath that sink. I've been asking to get it fixed. It's been months. I got shit sitting in boxes on my floor that belong underneath my sink. And my landlady said that her other house, well, she's got more than one, but anyway, her other house, I guess it's heated with water, and one of the things broke, and the water went everywhere, so they had to renovate the whole 2 rooms or whatever it was because of that. And that's why that's not getting fixed, because the guys are busy. It's not because they're busy people, it's because they don't like me. Right. You see me as a burden. And they only want more money, these guys. That's all. That's what is important in British Columbia, Canada. Is how many houses you have, and pretty much how much money you have. The more houses you have, the more important you become. No. That's it. Okay, Andre, you want to come show this so I can go wash my hands and turn this off? Andre. He's scared too, people. Nothing. Here, show. Here's the chicken. That's the chicken. That's a big bowl of chicken. So, oops. That's quite a few jars. Plus, we still got that little bit of beef.
You're going to cook that chicken?
I'm canning it, Andre.
Oh.
It will go further. Right? It will go further.
Okay.
And then this. Right? That will go into the jars after.
Okay.
Okay. And then we've got a pot here starting with some chicken bones.
Okay.
Okay, you can turn it off now.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't feel good. No, I don't think I can do this. I mean, I'll do this, but in terms of too much more, because all I'm thinking about is this stuff going in a bin now. All just thrown in. See? I don't know if you can see that. So then, now I put seasoning salt on, I try and spread this juice between all of them. And then I top off with water, because obviously there's flavor in the juice, right? So you kind of want to spread that around. Yeah, I'm feeling really bad right now. So I don't know if I'm going to be canning too much more after this. There's no point. Right. Just thinking about all my stuff getting ruined. People pillaging it. And then going out and acting like they're nice people. Right. I mean, I realize it's going to take a little while before that happens, but I can't stop that. It's not that simple. I can't just fucking put everything in storage. Right. I don't tell them to get rid of their old broken down bungalows now, do I? I don't. Oh, there's lots of things I could say, people, that I don't say. But I'm thinking it. See, that's the problem. It's making me feel ill. So this little bit of liquid that was here kind of filled up all the jars. And then what I'm going to do... Oh, I missed one. Shit. And then what I'm going to do is... just junk. This roasting pan's just junk. Then what I'm going to do... What was I going to do? I don't know. I don't know what I was going to do. Oh, yes. That beef. I'll do that beef. So where you're a little loose on your... short on your jars here with liquid, I'm just going to top them off a little bit. Right? It's going to siphon out. But there's really not much you can, because it's in the canner for 75 minutes. Right? So there's not really much you can do about that. But I find doing it this way helps a bit. For whatever reason. I don't know if it's my imagination or what. I don't like just putting... I mean, I've done it. I will do it, but I prefer to do it this way. It takes a little longer, but in my opinion, it gets a better result. See, this one's low. So now I just got to get a bit of water and top these off. You have to make sure you debubble. We got, what is that? 8 jars? Yeah, that's 8 jars. That's not bad. Out of those 3 little chickens, right? A bunch of skin, which technically I should be using for cat food because I'm hearing cat food is running out too. Yeah, can't always find cat food these days. Some places worse than others. So I don't know. Andre's worried about his cat. He said, I'm taking Lily. I don't care. He says, I'm taking Lily. And I'm like, geez, Andre, it's not that simple. Right. An orphan and his cat. It's not that simple. And now I've got 4 jars. I don't think it will take 4 jars. I think it will only take 2 jars, maybe 3 at best, for that beef. Okay, so again, just debubble a little bit. Wipe your rims. Alright, I already went down. Alright. Let it settle for a minute. Okay, and then you'll find that your water level will drop a bit, just like those mandarin oranges. Right? And then this way you can top off a little bit water. Now, is there going to... And I'm only going by tablespoons right now. And they're not even real tablespoons. Okay? Because I used up all that liquid from baking it. Which a lot of it was blood. And whatnot. Right? And the seasoning. I just seasoned it with one of my favorite seasoning sauces. Now, if you notice, this one's a lot more room in here. Where some other ones may be a little too packed tight. So in a situation like that, I would just take... Don't forget to wipe your rims again. And put that in there. And then, because it rised up with that, you have to take that out. It's a little bit of a juggling act. And make sure everything's under the water. It's about 1 inch. Right. So I'm not going to put no salt in, because I don't want to make it too salty. Alright. I think what I used will be more than enough between all these jars, in terms of the seasoning salt. And it's highs. I like that one. So I have to wipe those rims again. Right. Okay, my head is really starting to hurt and I'm starting to feel sick. I'm having panic attacks, people. Like, seriously, like, this is like homegrown fucking terrorism, psychological warfare. This is taking me back when the fucking social worker came in and took out Andre from the daycare and kicked out Sierra, and Uncle John being medically fucking kidnapped, and Shmay being murdered, and Amari finding out that he's disabled, can't walk, can't crawl, can't talk, can't, right? All this other shit, and then Sierra being snuffed out. Okay? Like, seriously.
Everyone, because either you have someone in your family who...
You can't say this isn't fucking planned.
Or you yourself. And so they say...
What are they going to do? Throw out my sewing machines? Go into my deep freeze, start throwing out the food? Or are they going to give it away? Be generous.
And
With the community.
Look far in my cabinet to find others who have as well.
Like serious.
Stuff, folks. I mean, these people,
So I'm only putting in a little bit for flavor, and then I'm going to top it off with water. Okay, this was already pre-cooked. It's not that runny. I mean, not that thick, I should say. It's not that thick. There's bits of grease in there, but I'm not putting the grease in. Okay? Right? Okay, I'm just doing this for a little bit of flavor. This meat just kind of fell apart because it's already pre-cooked. But that's fine. You can pre-cooked food. And then just top it off. Okay? You don't need to add salt because it's already been salted. It's got its own flavors. Alright? A little bit of grease is okay. But just remember it crawls. So take it out. Right? In terms of cutting off fats and stuff. But a little bit is always nice. Okay, that should be fine. Whoa, almost lost this.
Guys, when are we going to wake up? Okay?
I'm doing this waiting for my life to be completely destroyed because of money. That's all it is.
Poor lady. Wait till you hear this
People can brag.
Poor lady. Whoopi Goldberg actually let it drop the other day. She was paying out on some.
I want to start crying again.
I'm not up with American comedy shows. I can't remember what the guy's name
Okay,
is.
you can see the little bits of grease. That should be fine.
And the jabs and the whole protocol.
And you can take them out if you want, but
Tried to give him a
you
hard
end up
time.
putting your jar in a nice cool place like Auntie Shimei's room.
People dying from the vaccine.
Right?
Over the weekend, Bill Maher
The grease solidifies.
for people who are
It'll stay good.
vaccinated, boosted, and have
Okay, so I'm ending this video. Put the lids and wipe the rims, right? Wipe the rims. Oops. Oh my God. I'm gonna burst out crying here in a second. Put on the rims, right? Because of that loosh harvesting, people. That's what it is, right? Wear you down, right? Like a hyena, just fucking take a swipe at you and wear you down. That's what it is, right? Make you weaker. Okay, so now you wipe your rims. And when you put on your
family members or dear friends to this.
ring,
Vaccine, folks, not
only finger tight.
alleged.
Sometimes it happens to explode
I tell you what's going on, folks.
a jar
What's going on.
because you screw it on too tight. You don't want just finger tight. 75 minutes because it's meat. And, yeah. So now I'm going to do those carrots and put them in jars so they can be thrown out. I guess Punjabis are going to inherit the earth. Eh, people? Even though they don't believe in God, they live, they die, and they think that's it. There's nothing after the fact. Right? But yet, I think they think they're going to inherit the earth.
There was even
Okay?
a
I
reporter
really
who
do.
mentioned to Anastasia